Everybody, Sean Alson here. It's August 21st. It is a Monday. Headed out with Captain here, Captain Andy Bennett, Mr. Matt Downs,
Terry.
Guess on board Terry.
Cody.
And Cody, sorry. Heading out of Packer Channel here. The weather is pretty calm at the moment. It's supposed to be picking up throughout the day. We're going to take the spear guns out, try to do a little bit of amberjack spearing. Season's open for another 4 days before it closes. And that window closes for the year. And then red snapper could close at any day as well. So they're on our target too. So we'll see y'all shortly out at the dive site. Alright, so here we are exiting the end of Packery. Right after sunrise. Nice flat seas. Couldn't ask for a better day. We ran 35 miles offshore to South Anthill. You can see the rig through the water here. It is cut off at 40 feet, so the rig you can see in the water is 40 feet down. That's just how clear the water is. I just thrown a chain attached to a line, which is in turn attached to a couple of floats and a ball. This is to mark the rig. I will go down here in a moment after I do my rollover. I will go down that line, run that chain around the rig and shackle it to itself, and we'll yank on the line a couple times and the boat will come up and moor to that line. That way the boat's moored to the line, and that gives us a down line to get down to the rig and get back up to the boat again without having to basically swim around and fight the current here. So starting the descent here, visibility is really clear. It's probably 100 plus. Water looks great. See these short, lighter sections, these little pieces on the big pipe, those are all anodes just like you would have on a small bay boat or even larger ships. They will have a sacrificial anode to help prevent corrosion. These are just huge anodes on this rig. You'll see more of those later in the video here. Big school of fish there, look like crevalle or horse-eye jacks. See some barracudas swimming around. So I finish up getting the chain attached and giving the line a few yanks, let the boat know, hey, we're tied up on this end, go ahead and tie the boat. So I'm done there. I am ready to start hunting. Again, I see the usual stuff, barracuda, Bermuda chubs. I'm looking down deep. We're out here looking for amberjack. The season is going to close in a few days, so I'm kind of looking for those already. I don't expect to see them from this shallow of a depth. But again, that is kind of our target species, as well as red snapper. That season is still open as well. If any of them swim up to me and I'm not in the process of hunting down an amberjack, I'll probably shoot a red snapper here. So getting the gun loaded up, get ready to head down. My band's on. Tip got kind of tangled through the cable here. Get that attached. Pull it tight. I'm about ready to go. I'm kind of looking around a little bit already. It's very common for cobia to come swimming up to you. When you first get down here on this rig, they'll come straight up to you a lot of times out of curiosity, wanting to know what's going on and what you're doing. So kind of slow pan around here. Again, the usuals, lots of barracuda, some Bermuda chubs, a couple of small gray snapper. Nothing worth chasing after with a gun. So I'm going to head down here. You see the stream of bubbles coming up out of this pipe right ahead of me. I believe that's natural gas. That's just a leak on this rig. It is constantly venting this gas. Top of those pipes I'm looking at are at 100. The horizontal pipes at the base of those pipes pointing up toward me is at about 130. Those are the horizontals that I'm going to drop down to and basically start hunting from. So I'm panning around as I'm making my descent here. Again, I'm kind of looking around, looking for amberjack, looking for cobia, looking for anything worth shooting. Snapper, African pompano, whatever. But primarily I am kind of got an eye out for AJ. I'm down passing 100, approaching the 130s. See the big anode right there in the middle of the screen that's attached to the top of the rig. Get down here, a couple of Almaco jacks. Some juvenile amberjack here. Those two darker ones that are a little bit closer than the others, they definitely look a little darker than the others. Those are almacos. There's a barracuda comes zipping in, scare everything off. That's a small school of juvenile amberjack. Those are all a little too small to shoot. Those are all probably in the 10-pound range. Dark almaco right in the middle there in the front. Again, I'm panning around. I'm hoping an amberjack's going to come up and take a look at me, which they will very often do. And I notice this big fish kind of up toward the top up there right now. I'm looking at him. He's dead center on the screen, and I'm realizing that's a cobia, and he's a pretty big one. So I'm going to kind of chase down this cobia. I'm headed toward him. He gets outside the rig. I don't really want to push him too hard. He will just swim outside the rig and swim off. I'll never see him again. So what I'm doing now is I'm kind of ducking down behind the pipe a little bit. I'm holding the gun up in case he starts swimming toward me, but I'm basically using that pipe to hide my body. He knows I'm there. I know he knows I'm there. But I'm trying to pique his curiosity by kind of hiding behind the structure a little bit. If I'm out in the open, he'll see me from a distance, and he probably won't get any closer. So again, I'm kind of hiding behind the rig. Of course, obviously, he can see all my bubbles coming out. He doubled back. Now he's moving right to left. Now I'm actually starting to think he might actually come back by and give me a little flyby here. And I might actually get a shot on this guy. Again, I'm using the rig to kind of hide my silhouette. A couple almaco jacks just swim by there. Bunch of juvenile amberjack there underneath. So he comes around that corner and he's cutting the left. He's coming straight toward me over here. I already know he's probably going to cut to the outside, just on the other side of this anode right in front of me. Which that gives me some pretty good concealment there. He can't quite see what I'm doing. But I know he's coming. I'm going to go ahead and take my aim. And boy, is that guy a hog. So he went down, he immediately turned and went back up again. I was trying to get around the pipe to get him clipped off. That turned into a little bit of a mess there, so I doubled back, went under a different pipe. He's pulling, he's now gone back down. So the cable's going over this anode. He's down on the other side. I just can't quite see him yet. What I'm doing right now is I have my left hand on the cable. My right hand is the gun, the clip on the gun. What I'm trying to do is pull enough slack with my left hand to pull the gun up with my right hand. You can see the clip in my right hand there. I'm trying to get that clipped onto that cable so he's clipped to the rig. I don't have enough slack though. I can't pull against him. I'm kind of caught on a barnacle here, so I'm trying to break this free. I finally break it free, get enough slack, and get the gun clipped off here. So now he's tethered. He's not going anywhere. If I want to leave and come back, I'm free to do so. He could potentially tear off here, but he looks like he's gone limp. He looks like he's dead. I think I might have stoned him. So I'll go ahead and pull my knife out, start heading down, kind of marveling at how big this guy is. Of course, he ain't having none of that. I don't want to get wrapped up in the cable, so I'm going to kind of back off, give him a little space. I'm going to cut this line free here. That was just some random line hanging there. I don't want that cobia to get all tangled up in that line and me have to cut that out while I'm fighting the cobia, or me swim into that line because I'm not looking directly at it and me get tangled in it. Either way, I was just getting that line out of the way. So here I'm kind of just letting him fight it out a little bit. He just did this slow swim for quite a while. I actually ascended a bit and then waited for about 5 minutes and came back down just to help conserve some of my bottom time and my air, because I know this guy is going to be green for quite a while. So he's going up now. I'm actually wanting him to swim around the pipe and shorten the leash that he has. He's got a pretty long tether right now. I'm not really digging it. Again, I don't want to get wrapped up under that cable. This is a really big, strong fish, and he will absolutely pin me to that rig down here at 130, and I really don't want that. So I am going to kind of give chase a little bit here. He is staying below the pipe. He's mostly just trying to avoid me. Um, so here in a second, I'm actually going to drop down. I'm going to try to chase him around the pipe and essentially force him to wrap around the pipe and shorten the leash on himself. So as I come under here, see he's going to start going up. He's kind of all over the place, but again, he's clipped, so I know he's not going to go anywhere. Started coming up, he went back down. Again, he's just swimming circles and figure eights down here right underneath the rig. So looking at my time, I don't have a lot of time down here. I've still got plenty of air, but my time is going to run out here pretty quick. So I need to do something. Again, I kind of need to force the issue. This guy's so big and strong, though, I really don't want to go hands-on with him while he's green. Again, I'm trying to wear him out a little. So that kind of pushed him over the pipe. That's exactly what I want him to do right there. He just ran out of cable. Now he's really going to fight, and I want him to, and I want him to wear himself out. It's about now I get my hands on him, and I see just quite how big this fish is. This is a beast of a cobia. Now, he's not fully green, but obviously he's not done yet. I'm trying to avoid getting hit in the face with that tail. I don't want him knocking my mask off or knocking my regulator out of my mouth. So he kind of went limp there. I could tell he's just about gassed out. He's not there yet, but he's pretty close. Just a very light kick from this big of a fish. It puts up quite a bit of resistance. So I try to get the knife in. I'm getting killed real quick here, so I don't have to fight him so much. He didn't really dig that a whole lot. Take a short little stab. That helps me get the tip started. Do get it in there and pull it back out. It did cause him to go mouth open. He looks like he's dead. He's actually not dead yet, but that did stun him quite a bit. So time to go. I'm probably beyond time to go. So unclip the gun. Now I need to start untangling all this crap from the rig. Of course, this cable is going to get wrapped up and dug down inside all these barnacles and oysters on the rig. It's probably going to be a little bit of a chore getting this guy off, and I already know this. So start pulling it right away. It's buried so deep in the oyster here. I'm kind of having trouble pulling it out. I can't swim through the gap because the fish is right there. So I decide to essentially, I'm just going to let the gun go. It's going to float up out of the way. I'm going to take the fish and swim him around and under and start undoing it basically from the other end. Which is a pretty good idea. That works pretty well. Swim around underneath, come up. The cable kind of comes right out of the barnacles and oyster here. And I've got him free, and I'm about ready to ascend. Alright, so I throat that guy. That guy had a huge throat. I could barely get my fist around his throat to actually grab by the throat to take him upward. Didn't bother stringing him. His head was a little too wide for my stringer. I just throated him and carried him upward, let the gun just kind of float free behind me here. So again, I kind of did a little up at 40 feet now. I'm heading up to the line. Going to get ready to make my ascent up to the boat. But now that I'm at 40, I've got more time, a little more air here. Go ahead and get that cable off of his tail. Grab the gun and decide at this point, instead of leaving the cable loose with the gun floating, I'm just going to carry the gun and just kind of drag the fish behind me. The current will help kind of keep everything in line, keep everything from getting tangled up here. I'm essentially just going to kind of tow him to the surface with me. When I get to the surface, I want to hand the gun into the boat, have somebody take it from me. See the fish here, you can tell he's not dead. He's kind of kicking a little bit at this point. He's definitely not completely done, but just about. So once he makes it to the surface, that's all for him. So this guy went 65 inches, 84 pounds. That's 5 foot 5 inches. That's pretty long fish there. But great trip out. My biggest cobia to date. Thank you guys for watching the video, and hope to see you guys on the next one.